What's up, guys? This is Miasin, and today we're going to be going over my YCS Quito experience and also, the YCS overall, what people played in it, even though we don't really have enough, data here because we don't actually have all the deck lists since, the YCS was pretty small. We only had 305 players, even though it said approximately 600 duelists. Not even close. No, it was a 9-round YCS, so 7 rounds day 1 and then 2 rounds day 2. We had like a massive issue where like at one point the tournament got like deleted by accident. So it took like almost like 3 hours before like the round 8 and 9. So yeah, it was insane. But again, like I said, thank God I was undefeated on day 1, which meant that regardless of what happened day 2, I was guaranteed in the top 32. And then I died in top 32. So that's the reason why we're seeing a Crystron here. And I am convinced I was the only Crystron in top cut. But we had a massive amount of Raizial Mitsurugi in top cut and also a huge amount of Malice. But the YCS was overall won by a non-Raizial or Malice deck list, which is also very interesting, and obviously we're going to be going over that. But yeah, before we go any further, friendly reminder, of course, to smash the like and subscribe button. Really motivates me a lot to keep making videos overall. And also shoutouts to my Blue Eyes and Crystron spreadsheet, Crystron best deck, you already know it. And also shoutouts to my sponsors, Supreme Pro. So please check out tsx1.com for, the best deck boxes. I got one right now, I've been using it all weekend for the YCS. And also really nice play mats, so use the coupon code YACIN10 for 10% off. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so obviously, like I said, the event was not won by Raizial or Malice, but rather by Evil Twin, so shoutouts to Josue. I don't really know if that's actually like his full name, but whatever, shoutouts to you. Really interesting deck. There are some nice tech cards in here. Spell card Monster Reborn was the first one that really caught my eye because I've been actually saying that this card was really good, and I'm super happy to see it win a YCS. So I think a lot of people who were kind of skeptical on the card now, they kind of just get to, change their mind on it. The reason why this card is so good is because it is either an extender for you to help you, and it's especially good in a Fiendsmith deck because, Fiendsmith engine kind of just gets to pop off with only one single card. It's a great way to recover through Nibiru, so if you full combo, you get nibbed. You can use spell card Monster Reborn to revive back your own Trouble Sunny, the Link 4. If I can find it. There you go. And then you can, like Mega Interrupt on your opponent's turn. And also you can use Monster Reborn as, well, spell card Monster Reborn as an interruption. So, you're going second against the Malice or Raizial Mitsurugi. You can steal their Murakumo. And then you can't use the effect right away or can't attack with it. But starting from the next turn, you will be able to. So this card is great at stealing White Binders. It's really good at stealing Murakumos. And there could even be some other things like a Raizial Detonator when you try to impermit. And then they self-destruct, and then they try to revive back with Twins of the Eclipse. Spell card Monster Reborn can be one of your best friends. So I think this card is super flexible, and this is where it shines. It's not really because the card is powerful, but rather because it does so many different things. It can either help you or hurt the opponent, and sometimes do both at the same time, which is absolutely fantastic. I think one really cool thing about spell card Monster Reborn is also the fact that you can dodge Bestials with this card. So your opponent tries to Bestial one of your light and dark monsters. You can chain spell card Monster Reborn, so not only that the Bestial will fizzle, but also you will be reviving back your monster, which is fantastic. So as long as you use this card correctly, you can really get a lot of value. And also, if you're playing a Malice mirror match, or any mirror match where Artifact Lancia is a big problem for you, you get Lancia, you use spell card Monster Reborn on your opponent's Lancia, then on your opponent's turn, you can use the Lancia that you stole, which kind of feels really disgusting. So this card is goated as heck. Really recommend at least looking into it. You got nothing to lose just by being open-minded and being willing to test this card out. I'm not necessarily saying to play it in every deck, but I think this card is much better than people give it credit for. And just in case sometimes you are not satisfied with the non-engine cards that exist in Yu-Gi-Oh!, just remind yourself that this is another option alongside many others. And this deck is very teched out, which might actually be the reason why this won the whole YCS, because a lot of really high-level players were in this YCS, and they did well, but they couldn't actually make it all the way to the finals or even win the whole thing. Which, again, speaks volume on why, playing a weird, like, out-of-the-blue kind of deck can really get you far. So you have 41 cards, and we're seeing a lot of one-card starters. So 3 Kisikil, 3 Kisikil Frost. All the Kisikils, they're one-card starters because of the Link 1 that specifically needs a Kisikil monster to be made. And that card, it's going to be Foolishing the Lila Sweet, which can revive itself back from the grave. And also, this is a Light Fiend monster, which is the reason why this deck was literally born to function with the Fiendsmith engine. It's just insane synergy. So, by the way, this is also a Cyberse, and this is Cyberse, which is the reason why Cyanide Mining is there. So we've got 7 one-card starters. This is not a starter. And then we also have the Fiendsmith engine, which are kind of semi-starters, so 4, so 11 in total. And then 3 extra starters, so 14. And 2 Sand and Mining, so 16. And then the Fiendsmith track, so we're playing 16 starters out of 41. That's like a 93, I believe, % chance of seeing your one of your starters. And then we also play a huge amount of non-engine cards, so 3, 6, 8, 11, I believe, 13, 15, 18 hand traps, alongside Call by the Grave, Cross Out, and then only 1 brick from what I'm seeing, right? The only brick would be Fiendsmith Paradise. I guess you can say Lila Sweet is kind of like a semi-brick, but only if your hand is garbage. If your hand is fine, then it is what it is. So yeah, great deck, and I mean, I think one of the only issues with this deck is that the ceiling level is kind of low. I mean, if you get interrupted, you're not doing much of anything. The health boards are terrible. If you get hit by a Chummy, you actually kind of lose. If you get hit by Drool, ironically, it actually does nothing for you. But yeah, Chummies are definitely a massive problem. Just like the main deck monsters, they apply like 0 pressure because all of them are super weak. You know, 500 attack, 500 attack, 500 attack, and 500 attack. It's not a lot. So you're really relying on your extra deck to get you there, and if your extra deck is kind of like shut down because you're under a Chummy or something, it's really gonna hurt like crazy. And Nibiru also wipes the floor with this deck. It is extremely good against the Evil Twin portion of the deck. The only engine that really saves you from Nibiru is in Fiendsmith engine because of Caesar access. But apart from that, you really have to like beat Nibiru by being conservative, which is really difficult in a deck where, like I said, the ceiling level is not the highest. But yeah, anyways, still, great job, like I said, nonetheless. And the extra deck is pretty clean as well. There's no Unchained stuff at all, which is interesting, and I think I like it because that's also less bricks for you. And the side deck is also teched out, so we're seeing 3 Mistaken Arrest. This is not a deck that necessarily needs to search too much. I think every deck that plays with the Fiendsmith engine, it just doesn't search all that much to begin with. I mean, there is obviously Engraver and Track that search, but apart from that, I mean, you can always normal summon Lacrima, normal summon Lori, and you can do so much with just normal summoning a Light Fiend monster, because they're that good. So Mistaken Arrest, obviously, is always going to hurt the opponent way more than it's going to hurt you. And if you flip this card against Raizial Mitsurugi, it is extremely difficult for your opponent to win. You can use this on, like, your own end phase after your full combo, and there's basically no loophole for your opponent. Your opponent can't be, like, he can't really use prayers for the good effect. You can use it as, like, a Monster Reborn, but that's about it, which is not as good. And then all the Ritual Monsters, they're pretty useless. Like, if they get tributed, now they actually don't come back. And also, this card, it works for, like, multiple turns. It's not just one single turn, which is good it's a good and a bad thing. But, like, in this very specific deck, against Raizial Mitsurugi, it's obviously going to be a good thing. So this is insane against literally the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. And honestly, if you draw this card in a deck that can utilize it, it's really difficult to lose. Thrust, so that you can thrust into Mischief of the Gnomes and Simul Archfiends. This is how you beat the Malice matchup, even though I'm not like... Obviously, this card is broken, but like, do you really need it all that much? I don't know. Maybe, but whatever. Salesman, great going second, especially going first. It's a little weird. Obviously, you can blind call Nibiru, but it's not really worth it. Lightning Storm, Talent, Duster... yeah, I mean, it's kind of standard, but yeah, the interesting cards are obviously Mistaken Arrest and Simul Archfiends and Salesman. Everything else is kind of standard. Yeah, that was the winning deck list, and then after that, we've got my boy Francisco with his Malice deck. He probably has it on, like, his channel or something, but yeah, shoutouts to you if you're watching this. Alex, my boy, my Toronto brother. So, he played Raizial Mitsurugi. Yeah, obviously, I already knew it. He was on this deck for quite a while, and he's quite good with this deck, and has been cooking for, like I said, a hot minute. I've been trying out, like, a lot of, like, different configurations for, like, you know, the non-engine and everything. And this is what he decided to go with at the end. So only 2/7 Tachyon is interesting. Cross out main deck. And then only 1 Perulia. This is one big thing with, like, South American players. They don't actually like playing 6 Perulias. 6 Chummies. Usually it's like 4 or 5 and then they side the rest. I mean, this is a very logical deck list overall. Dynamundo, I really like it a lot. I think I told him actually that IP into Dynamundo was like something that actually came up. Or even just Dynamundo, but IP into SP... It really just didn't come up too often, and we're not seeing Daigusto Emerald at all, which also makes sense because a lot of people have been replacing it with Gallon Granite so that you just respect Nibiru a little more, so that you don't have to, like, overlay using your duo drive so that you make Twins of Eclipse to, like, send it, etc. So obviously that makes sense as well. No Ragna Infinity, so that you cannot search Lancia with 7 Tachyon. I think that's, like, one of the only issues that I have, just because I really like searching Lancia to just FTK Malice, but it's not really a big deal. And then the brick of choice is Star Raizial. We're playing 42. which means that we actually have less consistency cards, but actually not really, because we're also playing Prosperity. These two cards that aren't like in every Raizial Mitsurugi deck list, but they're actually gaining a lot in popularity. And now they might stabilize themselves as staples in that deck, or at least in the main deck. Obviously, they were always staple, at least in the side deck, but now people are main decking Talent and Crossout, whereas before it was really just Called by the Grave. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself because that's what I was doing, but I also kind of noticed that Talent saw less play in the main deck, and Crossout saw like very little play, but now people are just, I guess, back to main decking it left and right. I don't know. Ruben's deck list, obviously he's been on Malice for quite a while. He played that at YCS Rhode Island. I mean, it's an interesting deck list. He is no longer playing Allure of Darkness, and he's playing 2 Forbidden Droplet. I think he said that he never really used this card at all, so it's not like we can really say that it was broken or not. But yeah, I think he played like 17 hand traps or something ridiculous. So yeah, 3, 6, 8, and then we're not going to count March here, obviously. 11, 14, 17, there you go. So yeah, 17 hand traps, and still playing Talent and 2 Droplet. So that's kind of crazy, with a lot of starters. So yeah, and also the side deck has the AI Michu, so even more extra consistency cards, and also Sales Ban, which wipes the floor with Raizial. It's extremely good. You call Detonator, and even if they got Twins of the Eclipse, it's pretty much useless. And if you got like a combination of Board Breakers or hand traps and Board Breakers or Sales Ban with literally any like other non-engine cards in your deck, it's always going to work out fine. So I think Malice is one of the best decks to be able to utilize Sales Ban, because you're not trying to play this in a mirror match, obviously, because it's going to cripple your own cards that you call for the rest of the duel. But then against like any other deck, you're not really playing the cards that you're trying to call anyway, so it's pretty much always good. And it's very generic, so if there's like a random deck that you don't really have anything against, Sales Ban is one of the good cards that you could always play at any moment. Sanctum into Dimensional Barrier, that's really interesting, so even more thrust targets, I guess. Mischief of the Gnomes is not being played here. That's pretty much it for Ruben's deck list. And then this is Fernando's deck list. I did play against him. Huge shoutouts to you, my boy. So this deck is actually really crazy. If it pops off, you lose. It's insane. I don't really know if I understand everything that he was trying to do, but I mean, I definitely understand like the main deck and like the whole premise, because obviously Raizial Voice's voice, you know, it's just a Voice's voice deck that is being like augmented with Raizial cards. I guess there is a little bit of conflicting, like sometimes you have Novox and you have Ice Raizial and you can't normal summon both. So that was like one of the problems, and also the huge amount of bricks. So, you know, you gotta play Saravis, you gotta play the other Saravis. The other Saravis is not the end of the world, actually. It's still kind of like a semi-hand trap. It's like a main deckable Call by the Grave. And then there's Node. There, you know, the Ritual spell is now the best. And then Blessing sometimes is garbage. Raizial Cross, obviously, and then the Trap card. So yeah, it's like a lot of the bricks in the Raizial deck, plus the bricks. Well, the Raizial cards don't really have too many bricks other than Node and Cross. But the Voice's Voice cards, there's a couple. And also, like I said, the conflicting sometimes, but it's not really the end of the world. A lot of hand traps. This deck was... I actually lost game 2 against him. He went first, he activated the Blessing, the Voice's Voice, and then normal summoned Ice, and then went Chainlink 1 Ice, Chainlink 2 Blessing, so my Ash couldn't actually hit the Ice. And then he just summoned Skull Guardian, pitched the Novox, so he had like a 4-card combo, and my Ash was useless because if I try to Ash him, then he can just negate with Skull Guardian. At this point, he already has like everything that he needs. So yeah, that was actually kind of scary. No Star Raizial whatsoever, not even side decking it. It's actually quite interesting. And the cards that I'm still not really sure about, Code Igniter. So this card, if it's XC summoned, you can add a Cyrus Ritual monster from your deck to your hand. He's not really playing any, so that's very interesting. And then you can detach a material to ritual summon a monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total level equal or exceed its level. So in other words, this card allows you to just turn a bunch of monsters into a way to ritual summon for Skull Guardian and just play the game from there. So that's actually really cool. If you just draw like Skull Guardian and Novox and Ice Raizial, you still go normal summon Ice and then pop off. And then you're going to be making this card and then ritual summon the Skull Guardian. So obviously, I didn't even know that this card was a thing before. And now I know. So yeah, it's actually quite logical. A very nice synergy. And Starring Knight. I know what this card does. So you can special summon a light monster from your hand. It's in a generic ring 4. So once again, if you have Ice Raizial and Novox, you normal summon the Ice. And then you can special summon the Novox from the hand. Again, very cool strategy overall. And also a super fun deck. But it doesn't play that many non-engine. But it's not bad. It's just that the ratio of like non-engine... I mean, like... engine cards and bricks and hand traps is just like not the best because you're playing a lot of bad cards. But if we can make this deck even more minimalistic by potentially cutting Radiance and cutting the bad Saravis, the main deck Saravis, that would be even better. And also could this card potentially, but maybe that's like overreaching. I don't know. Like I said, really cool strategy, and shout outs to you. And also, there can only be one in the side deck. That's terrifying. But thank God he didn't draw this card against me. Oh my God. And yeah, he also didn't draw Chaos Center or Lancia against me on game 3. Again, thank God. Alright, there's another deck list that we're going to be looking into. Blue Eyes Primite. I did not actually see this guy in Top Cut, so that's interesting. I'm pretty sure I saw like almost everyone, but for some reason I had no idea that Blue Eyes topped this YCS before. And I mean, that looks like a standard deck list, nothing too extraordinary, only one Drill Beam. Yeah, everything else is kind of, I guess, Fallen of Albaz. Yeah, then we're playing Albion and Lubellion, Ancient Fairy Life for the OTK. Feel like that's pretty much it. Everything else is like very standard, nothing extraordinary, but still, it's always nice to see Blue Eyes top. That's awesome. Rico Carlos, shout outs to you, my boy, of course. Very interesting deck list. Oh my God. Okay, so Manju of the 10,000 Hands as another normal summon that can search for Habakiri, or I can search for whatever, Futsu or Murakumo. Or search for prayers, right? No, sorry, not that would have been broken. No, for Ritual or Mirror. It's not a bad card or anything. It's definitely not bad. Also could have been like Diviner of the Herald, so that you can send the Herald of Arclight, but that's probably less good because then it's not a level 4, so that you can't make the non-existent. That's true, he's not playing Raizial. That is very true. That I completely forgot about that. He's playing Detonator, but he can't make it, so that's just like a, what, a Metal Tronus target? No, hold on. Yeah, okay, it is a Metal Tronus target. So yeah, Manju being a level 4 really doesn't matter. Diviner could have been played. Level 6 light monster. It becomes level 6, so if you have a level 4 monster, you can make Chaos Angel. Maybe, but then again, this is a level 4 light, and then you have Bestial monsters, so you can also make a light and dark Chaos Angel. So yeah, whether you want to play Manju or Diviner in this deck, it kind of depends on like the other cards that you play, but since he's main decking 4 Bestials, I think it actually makes more sense to play Manju. So that's nice logic that you got there. I'm not being sarcastic, by the way. I actually do like it. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty nice. Only 2 pre-prep for the 1 mirror, and okay, I mean, it looks very similar to like pure Mitsurugi, the way it's being played. It's very unique. I'm not gonna complain too much. And I think that's a lot of non-engine as well. You know, 5, 8, 9, 12, 14, 16, and then 19 non-engine and 42. That basically would have been like 17 and 40, which is a lot. It definitely is very good. And it still has the ability to play like the Fiendspit engine, but no Paradise in the main deck is not something you see every day. Usually this card is always main decked, even though it's a trap card. It's just not like a trap card that you're setting, so you always have the access to it at any moment. And also the Fiendspit engine is one of the most accessible and easy like to summon, like to go for engine in the game, because it's really just 2 monsters. So yeah, I think maybe I would have main decked the Paradise. I don't know what like the second Manju is doing in the side deck. Maybe there's a reason for that, but whatever. And also like third pre-prep, a lot of like extra just consistency cards. Also Gallon Granite in the extra deck. I guess against like the board breaker decks, like against Memento or something, you search Gallon. You make your end board as diversified and layered as possible, so even if they have board breakers, then you don't care. So again, I do understand the logic. I mean, it's cool. I don't know how often the Duke of Demise is resolving. I have no idea, but that's a nice deck list. Okay, my own deck list now. So yeah, obviously Yacine Sahli is me. And yeah, a lot of people don't even know what my name is. That's ridiculous. I played a 41 card deck, which is the worst idea I've ever made in my life. No, just kidding. It actually changed nothing. The 41st card was Called by the Grave, but whatever. The Horse Engine was terrible. Like I said, I would never play it again. It's 7 card package with 2 bricks. I saw the 2 bricks 9 times. I saw Seti like 5 or 6 times, and Sark like maybe 5 times. So yeah, I saw the bricks almost as often as the good cards. My RNG was like terrible with these cards, but my RNG overall with the Crystron cards was fine. Actually, no problem with them. But I should have played 5 Millennium cards and 2 hand shops. Probably would have been just better overall. And I will be making an updated, you know, Crystron deck list, like post YCS Quito experience, probably tomorrow. So stay tuned. And like I said, Crystron best deck, right? Check out my spreadsheet if you want to learn more about it. I really do recommend it. And even though it does look like a joke when I say it, I actually do mean it. Crystron is a remarkable deck, but it's very difficult to play. You do have to be on top of your game if you really want to catch everybody off guard with a really unique and weird strategy like this one. But yeah, I played 12 hand traps alongside 3 Droplet. Droplet is a good card, but I don't know if I'm going to play 3 moving forward. I think 2 might be a better number for me. Just because when I see this card with 0 hand traps, I know for a fact that I've lost. It's not like it really stops my opponent on turn 0, and the end boards that people are doing right now, they're just unreasonably good. So it's not enough to break boards. It's a good start, and it's good if it's really good at breaking half boards, but definitely not good at breaking full boards because, you know, the full boards, people are searching, like, they're getting crossed, they're searching, they're drawing a bunch of cards, they're searching hand traps in front of you, they're searching trap cards, and Droplet just doesn't deal with all of that, you know, where sometimes like an Imperm can deal with everything, but obviously it's not enough, like, right? You need a combination of the turn skips, and then, yeah, I'm playing basically all the turn skips that are worth playing in the game right now, so I still liked my deck for the most part. I think everything made sense except for the horse cards, and maybe triple Droplet and the fact that I'm playing 41. I should have played 40. I shouldn't have played the horse cards. Maybe should have played 2 Droplet. Play more in hand traps like Imperm and stuff like that. And then my side deck also could have had like some going first cards potentially. Even though Dominus Impulse, great going first card, generically playable against everything. Maybe could have had like Solemn Strike, Warning, or Judgment. That is definitely something that I could look for, you know, moving forward into into like the rest of the format until we get K9. But yeah, shoutouts to myself for playing Horus Crystron. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, it's a cool deck. Like I said, I had a great time, and my tournament experience was fantastic, but also a little awkward because the horse cards were bad. Check out my deck profile that I uploaded like 2 days ago if you're still unsure about like why I played certain cards. Anyways, Raizial Mitsurugi, that's one of the final deck lists that we had. This time we are not main decking the Ragnar Infinity, but at least side decking, so we can't search Artifact Lancia. Arby's Featherstorm with the Castel strategy, of course. It's like one of the main usage of Castel because you're not really summoning it to break boards too often. And this time we're not playing Night Sword Serpent, but rather Star Raizial. So that is the brick of choice. And also playing Crossout, but no talent in the main deck. It's rather being side decked. So that is very interesting as well. Everything else is like very standard, so I'm not going to waste too much time here. And then we've got Giovanni's deck list and Nicholas Vera's deck list. So this one is Malice, side decking Book of Eclipse, and Phantasme. Pretty much the only interesting things to look into here. Main deck is very standard for the most part. Not really seeing anything too unique. Not playing TB11, but playing GWC and MTB. I mean, MTP is always going to be played. And GWC, I mean, most people play it, but some people don't because they play a bunch of Bestials and March Hare. So, you know, it kind of ends up being the same. Like, you can still summon all of your monsters. Topologic Bomber and Echo Talker adding Nister is insanity. And we're not playing any of the Nightmare monsters. No Salamangreat Elmirage is very interesting. I don't know, I feel like the other deck list, they kind of were. Hold on a second. No, that is the wrong one. Let's see Ruben's deck list. He was playing Elmirage, and he was... oh, actually, he also played both. That is insane. Okay, wow. So I really wonder what the difference is. Transcode Talker is also being played here. What? I mean, it's a great card. It's actually fantastic. It's really, really good. So I do understand. Yeah, there's definitely something that I just don't... I'm not grasping with Malice. Obviously, I'm not a Malice player, so I can't tell. And I think this deck should also be playing a huge amount of hand traps. This is still... Yeah, Giovanni's deck list. I'm calling like 18. So yeah, 3, 5, 8, 11, 14, and then 17, 20. Oh my god, half of the deck is hand traps. Holy shit. Oh, that's insane. And I'm gonna remove this. Wait, what? Okay, there you go. This should be the final deck list, Nicholas Vera's. So, side decking Mistaken Arrest and Metal Tronus, that's really cool. And then side decking the Detonator. So, the extra deck space is so tight that you can't even play it, or you can't play Elmirage. And also, Transcode apparently is just a tech. It's a staple now. Everybody's on it. So, again, I'm really late on the trends, at least when it comes to Malice, because I had no idea that Transcode was now played in everyone's deck. I mean, I knew obviously about Bomber Dragon, Elmirage, the second Lingrabo. I know those cards because I've seen them with my own eyes. But Transcode, I swear to God, I have not seen this card being played all that much before. It was just like, some people were considering it, some people were like, is it really worth playing? But now, yeah, everybody and their mother is playing Transcode. Cross out on the main deck, that is very interesting, and yeah, everything else is pretty standard, so there's not really much else for me to cover. And again, playing GWC and MTP07, I think every other deck list has been doing the same. There you go, exactly same. No TB11, that is now standard. So yeah, that's it for this tier list. No, not tier list. YCS Quito tournament report, breakdown, whatever, and my own experience recap. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know how you feel about, I guess, Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now in the comment section below. And also how you feel about Crystron in the comment section below. Do you think it's the best deck? The answer is either yes or yes. These are the only options that I'll really give you, because there's nothing else that you can really answer that will be correct, right? Obviously. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.